Hey, this is Spencer with Guardian Game Studio, and I want to give you some gameplay footage for Nathan and Luke, Badasses at Law. Now, if you're into side scrollers, this is going to be that pixel perfect, very difficult side scroller where the levels are going to be a lot more difficult than the end bosses. If you're into that type of gameplay like I am, I think you'll really enjoy it. This is a game that I made. A lot of times I work with different programmers. I did get a little bit of help on here, but for the most part, this game was of my own creation, so I really hope you enjoy it. We'll get into some gameplay. You can play as either Nathan or Luke. Your fictitious attorneys here, and you've got your level 1, and the boxes. Just talk a little bit about the boxes and manuals for a second. Go Box It, a really great guy out of England, is actually the one that designs all of our art for our boxes. Did a really good job. I mean, the quality is definitely there. I think you can get some cheaper stuff sometimes out of like China, but you just at the end of it you get what you pay for, and the amount of attention of detail that he puts into the manuals and the boxes are just fantastic. Now, although I do love a good difficult side scroller, otherwise I wouldn't have made this game, I am not the best. So you're going to see me probably die a couple of times in this. Now you can see here, you're going to pick up some abilities as you go on, and like for this one is you can slide under things or over things too as well. So it's being able to pick up those additional abilities certainly is really something cool. I am playing a demo ROM of this, so that the final product is going to be a little bit different than what you're seeing here, but for the most part what we wanted to show was just some really solid gameplay. Now, kind of like Mario back in the day, Mario, you could get through the first couple of levels, at least I always could as a kid, and then it got progressively more difficult as time went on, and that's really what we were trying to achieve here, is get something that you can get through, learn how to play, and then again throughout time it gets progressively more and more difficult. And I want that heightened level of difficulty because that's really what you had back in the day with like the NES Hard, right? The games couldn't be exceptionally long, so they made them difficult to add some replayability. Now you can play as Nathan or Luke, so it does have some replayability there. Both players are pretty much the same. There are some small unique differences I think you guys will find. Obviously not just the look in the player, but some small differences there, and you can tell I'm having some problems here jumping over and traversing. Now again, these first couple of levels aren't super pretty because what we're trying to do is just get through to be able to teach you guys how to be able to play the game. So again, I'm going to try to keep this a little bit shorter because playing a game, I've seen many YouTubers do this too as well. They try to play a game and talk at the same time, and it is not an easy feat. So there's going to be some easier bosses, the first couple, and then again they do get progressively more and more difficult throughout time. I will say that this is just a kind of a fictitious universe. There's nothing here the basis of reality as far as the gameplay. It's just meant to be a kind of a funny, you playing it as a couple of badass attorneys who are protecting consumers from the dirty lawyers and things like that. So there's some funny hilarity to it, like some of the other games that we made, like Jab This and stuff like that. We try to throw some comedy into each one of our games, and I get caught up. I end up always doing game testing for this thing, and then end up playing like 3 or 4 or 5 levels because I just can't get my hands off of it. So I'm gonna get through here and try to get to the first boss if I can. This might look a little bit easier because I've play tested the absolute heck out of this thing. But I promise you, this is anything but easy. If you've play tested it as many times as I have, it might look as though, but I've got to thank our game tester, Matt. He has done a great job with all the games that we've put out recently. Big thank you and shout out to him too as well, because let me tell you, if you want somebody that's really good at video games that can find all your bugs and glitches and things, Matt is definitely the guy for that. And he ensures that we put out quality products that you guys will enjoy. So I can't believe I made it through there. Got the first boss here. And I'm just going to try to spam this guy and not get hit. There's some the enemy AI in this one is pretty decent. We try not to make the bosses too difficult so you can get through them. But there we go. And the first guy is pretty darn easy. It's almost like your first boss in, I don't know, any of the Mario games. So on to level 2, and these guys are a huge pain in the butt because you have to hit them so many times. These little tiny evil minion attorneys, quite a bit of lava, some moving spikes and things like that. You'll see a little bit later. I'm having some fun playing this, so I'm going to try to get through. Oh, and there's your lie bats. So you're shooting out facts, right? and then there's Liebats, and I thought that was just kind of something funny I designed for the game. And these little tiny angry attorneys, they just kick your butt. Let me tell you, they are fast little buggers. So, and he just jumped to his demise. Check out the Liebat there, avoiding the spikes. I am going to get my absolute butt kicked on my own game, so I am going to. And there we go. So if you get over to the next area, there's some floating logs and that traverse over the lava and things like that. The game just gets progressively more difficult. There's some really good art, I think, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So this is the first couple of levels. There's 25 in total, 5 bosses, and it does get quite a bit more difficult. The levels are a little bit longer, and this is Nathan and Luke, Badasses at Law. I hope you enjoy it.